Are you a woman who enjoys beautiful things? 34/5 Lifestyle has lovely, unique accessories for your everyday look and also for those special occasions. Click the link below to check out our latest accessory collection.
Hey, lady, are you a woman who loves the Lord and who also enjoys beautiful things? Well, if you are, then you are personally invited to join my exclusive Christian women's group. In this group, we chat about clothes, beauty, home decor, parenting, marriage, cooking, and of course, our Christian walk. It's Christian lifestyle all encompassing. So be sure to join by clicking the link below. I hope to chat with you soon. Now back to our show. Hey, lady, are you a woman who loves the Lord and who also enjoys beautiful things? Well, if you are, then you are personally invited to join my exclusive Christian women's group. In this group, we chat about clothes, beauty, home decor, parenting, marriage, cooking, and of course, our Christian walk. It's Christian lifestyle all encompassing. So be sure to join by clicking the link below. I hope to chat with you soon.
Are you a woman who enjoys beautiful things? 34/5 Lifestyle has lovely, unique accessories for your everyday look and also for those special occasions. Click the link below to check out our latest accessory collection.
Hey, lady, are you a woman who loves the Lord and who also enjoys beautiful things? Well, if you are, then you are personally invited to join my exclusive Christian women's group. In this group, we chat about clothes, beauty, home decor, parenting, marriage, cooking, and of course, our Christian walk. It's Christian lifestyle all encompassing. So be sure to join by clicking the link below. I hope to chat with you soon. Now back to our show. lady. Are you a woman who loves the Lord and who also enjoys beautiful things? Well, if you are, then you are personally invited to join my exclusive Christian women's group. In this group, we chat about clothes, beauty, home decor, parenting, marriage, cooking, and of course, our Christian walk. It's Christian lifestyle all encompassing. So be sure to join by clicking the link below. I hope to chat with you soon. Now back to our show.
Are you a woman who enjoys beautiful things? 34/5 Lifestyle has lovely, unique accessories for your everyday look and also for those special occasions. Click the link below to check out our latest accessory collection. Are you a woman who enjoys beautiful things? 34/5 Lifestyle has lovely, unique accessories for your everyday look and also for those special occasions. Click the link below to check out our latest accessory collection.
Hey, lady. Are you a woman who loves the Lord and who also enjoys beauty?
Hello, good evening. Good evening, good evening. Welcome, ladies. Welcome to another episode of Grown Lady Chat with me, your host, Dr. Sherunda Simone. We are starting at 7 p.m. on the dot. Hey, AAJ squad, double J squad. Welcome, Tracy. Welcome. So very happy to have you all here this evening. I'm so excited. We are going to have another riveting conversation, another Grown Lady Chat. So go ahead, come on in. Jody, yes. Hey, Jody. All righty. Welcome, ladies. Be sure to, before I forget, because I realize that I have been forgetting, be sure to like the video. Take the time now to like the video and then also share the video. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pop up the question of the day on the screen for you. Okay, so question of the day. Have you liked and shared this video? All right, we're going to make sure that we at least triple our audience this evening. All right, I know you ladies are enjoying the conversation, so go ahead and share it with your friend, your best friend, your sister, your mother, your auntie, your church group. Go ahead and share with somebody right now and smash those like buttons. All right, go ahead and smash them. Welcome. Drop in the comments. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Yay! Woohoo! Yay! Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm assuming that you can hear me. So let me know if you can hear me. I have a different kind of shirt on today, so hopefully my mic is not too far away from my mouth. Let me know. Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. Also, too, welcome to the Facebook viewers. Facebook, welcome, chime in. So good to see all of you. Go ahead and share, smash the like button. We're going to get started, okay? Because today's conversation is going to be a part two to the last episode. Okay, so last episode. Hey, welcome, Jazz. Welcome. All right, so everybody can hear me. Josie Sports Nation in the chat today. All right, this is going to be a great conversation. So this is going to be part two for last week's spicy chat. All right, who remembers last week's conversation? Did you catch the replay? Did you catch the live? Ladies, we had a phenomenal conversation. We talked about how we can spice up our marriage physically. If you haven't seen last Thursday's live episode, you need to watch it. Okay, I'm still finding myself. Okay, it was muy picante last weekend. Okay, so last week Thursday. All right, but we're going to jump into it. Before I do, I just want to say that I am Dr. Sherunda Simone. I am the host of Grown Lady Chat, and my passion and purpose is to empower, strengthen, teach, enrich, energize, and motivate everyone else, especially ladies, to live on purpose for God and to do it beautifully. All right, so join Grown Lady Gang. Right, that's what my husband calls us, Grown Lady Gang. Yes, it was great. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Jody, for liking and sharing. Very good. Thank you so much, Tracy, Jasmine. You guys enjoyed last week. Yeah, that was really good. So today is a part two because I said in last week's episode that when we're talking about connecting with our husbands, it's more than just physical. We like the physical, right? Yes, we like the physical, but it's more than just that. It's, an emotional, intimate connection as well. There is a physical connection, there's a spiritual connection, and then there's also that intimacy, that emotional, deep connection. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. And a few of you reached out to me and said, yes, you want for us to talk about it. And that is so important because while we all jump for joy for the physical, if we don't have that deep, meaningful connection, what are we doing, right? Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is, why are we even having this conversation? Well, even if you're in a healthy, committed marriage and you and hubby are, you're locked in, even so, you still want to prevent trouble. As a doctor, I'm all about treatment, but I'm more so about preventing the disease in the first place. All right. So even if you're in a healthy marriage, even if you're not married, I know we have some single ladies in our Grown Lady Gang. Even if you're not married yet, but you plan on being married, lady, this is a conversation that we should all be having, especially as Christian women. So why are we having it? Because we want to make sure that we have a deep connection with our spouse, because once the kids are gone and once the dust settles, it's just you and he. All right, it's you and he, and you want to make sure that you have a good, solid foundation. But I want to start off by talking about three women, and these are women that I know personally, and I'm not going to divulge any specifics about their business, but maybe you can relate.
Maybe you can relate. So Jane Doe, we'll call her Jane Doe number one. Jane Doe number one, she is a successful and influential woman. All right. She does well in her job. She has beautiful children, a beautiful home. Her life is, very influential in the community. She's also married to a man who is equally successful, and he, is very high powered in the area. And what I like to think of Jane Doe as, she is the flourishing, fatigued, and frustrated wife. Why? Because she and her husband, even though they have this wonderful marriage on the outside, on the inside, there's little to no connection. They don't have any intimacy. All right. So that's Jane Doe number one. Now, Jane Doe number two, maybe you can relate. Jane Doe number two, she is dependable. All right. When there is a family situation, when there is a crisis with a friend, she is there. When there is an issue at the church, she is there, hands down. She is so dependable. You can set your clock on whether or not she's going to show up. Right. She is a nurturer. She's a giver, and she gives without any question, without any murmuring. And I like to call Jane Doe the highly demanded perpetual giver. Can you relate? Can you relate? Again, on the outside, you see she and her husband, they're working well together. You don't see any big strife, any big red flags, but still, their marriage lacks intimacy. Jane Doe number three. Jane Doe number three is in a stable and secure marriage. They both handle the responsibilities of life equally, they care for the children equally, and they're in a good place. They're wonderful, wonderful friends. And they respect each other, their security. There's no worry about infidelity or anything like that. But yet, Jane Doe number three is in the no sizzle, all fizzle marriage. Again, it lacks intimacy. Now, even though all of these scenarios, these real women, their scenarios appear very different on the outside, there is one common thread. In their marriages, intimacy and deep connection is not being prioritized. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't prioritize it. It's just in their marriage, it's not a priority. So, do they love their husbands? Yes. Do their husbands love them? Yes. But within that marriage, they're not prioritizing a deep, meaningful connection. So, that's the common thread. And now there are many reasons why marriages can go through the ebb and flow of, a lack of intimacy, or even more intimacy at other times. And there are many reasons, but I want to focus on just the common ones, especially with Jane Doe 1, 2, and 3. Now, again, it might not be for you, but you should be sharing this episode with somebody that it actually could be for. All right. So, again, if you haven't shared the episode, make sure you do so. Smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, also be sure to do that as well. Okay. We have lots of grown lady chats over here. So, moving right along. There are a few things that I have done within my marriage, and I continue to do within my marriage. And it's not just work for me, it's work for other women that I've talked to in Grown Lady Chat community, and even before this community formed. So I'm going to share those with you, and I want for you to chime in. This is a conversation. If you would like to actually come on audio or video, let me know as well. I can send that link. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and send that link. Okay. Let's see, I can invite you on. So if somebody does want to come on the live stream, you can. You don't have to show your face, all right? But you can definitely come on, and you can do just an audio, all right? So that way we can have a great conversation. But I'd like to hear how you and your husband are, increasing your intimacy, working on your intimacy. And it's not a one and done thing. All right. I'm not saying I have it all figured out, but there are certain aspects of our marriage where we do have a deep connection. And I believe it could be helpful to you. So there's the link. It's an active link. Let me go ahead and show it. But you can also click it in the comment section. All right. If you'd like to come on, again, you can come on audio as well as video, or just audio alone. Okay. All right. So the first thing, ladies, we've got to get our mind right. When we're talking about a deep connection with anybody else, we first have to start with making sure that we are in the position to make that healthy connection. Now, obviously, if you're already in a marriage, you can't backtrack and say, oh, wait, no, I have some things to work on. I have some areas to grow. So let me backpedal all to the marriage. You don't have to do that, but you do need to do the work. You need to, focus on the areas of your life that you need to work on. So that comes with personal development. And interestingly enough, my husband and I, when we first started dating, our love, our passion for personal development was one thing that brought us closer together. We realized that, after we were like, oh, you're cute, you're handsome, and all that external, we realized that we had that in common, our combined love for personal development and growth. So the first thing, lady, you really have to do, we have to get our minds right, because we don't want to bring our foolishness into a deep connection and then have that foolishness permeate into our marriage. All right. And again, we're all working on ourselves. We're not perfect individuals. I'm not perfect. Hubby's not perfect, but we're constantly growing toward being better. And I think these are the kind of conversations that are going to help us do that even better. So there are a few books, and I believe I linked a few of them in the description box already, but there are some that I realize now, I'm like, oh, my top 3 I didn't list. So I will be sure to add those immediately after this live is done. All right. So those active links will be there. I know a few of you have already reached out to me saying, hey, lady, we want like a recommended book list. I've got you. All right. I'm going to put it up on my website. Give me, a couple of days or so, but under Sherunda's favorite on my website, which is, let me show it to you right here in case you're wondering. That's my website. All right, drsherundasimone.com. I will go ahead and put under Sherunda's faves, you'll have recommended books, because I do have quite a few. All right, so let me see if I can take some of these banners down. Let's see. All right, and let me take off this one. Okay, there we go. All right, so the first thing to do is get our mind right. And there are a few books that I highly recommend. I've talked about this author, so very much, because I do really enjoy her work. Now, before I share about any author, their name, or anything like that, I just want to say that because I cannot fully say that I know all of their work and I know all of their perspectives on every topic, please don't think that I'm doing a carte blanche, or carte blanche endorsement of these authors. But I do find that the books that I recommend, they pass the Holy Spirit litmus test. Okay, so these are the books I recommend, and I feel as though they have definitely helped me along with my personal development. The first book is It's About Time by Valerie Burton. All right, now in that book, she helped me to focus on what was truly meaningful. As women, we have so many hats. We are doing so many things. We are multitaskers naturally, right, ladies? And so it's very easy for us to get busy with things that are good, but they might not be truly mindful. We might not be allocating the time as best as we could. And that doesn't leave out a time for you and hubby. Okay, because remember, there are things that still have to be done. Jobs have to be done. Children have to be cared for. Parents have to be cared for. There are deadlines. So if we're not careful with how we manage our time, we will not make or prioritize time for our deep connection with our spouse. So It's About Time. That's a good book. Another one by Valerie Burton. I wanted to show you the book. It's About Time. I believe it's either loaned out or I gave it to one of my sisters. I can't remember. So I don't have that one to show you, but I do have it on Audible, which is usually how I read my books. But another one by Valerie Burton, I've talked about this one as well. I also shared it in my email community. This one is Successful Women Think Differently. This one is another excellent resource just to help us as women control our thoughts. The Bible tells us to do so, right? And if we're not careful, again, these overwhelming thoughts of mom guilt, wife guilt, employee guilt, all of these things, they ride on our minds and they steal us. They rob us of our peace of mind. They rob us of our productivity because we're looking back instead of forward. They force us to feel guilty. And when we do so, we're not as productive. And again, our mindset is not in the place where we can even focus on being intimate with our husbands. Okay, so we're talking about working on us now, and then we'll get to how you and hubby can link up. All right, if you're enjoying the conversation so far, be sure to smash the like button and let's spam the comment section. All right, ladies, if you're getting any kind of benefit from this conversation so far. So the two books by Valerie Burton, another one I've talked about extensively is Essentialism by Greg McKeown. That one I know for sure, confirmed. It is in our library, but my bonus son, he has it right now. So Essentialism, that's another great book. And it helped me again to pare down what was truly essential for me to do. So again, if you are someone like me and you want to be a part of, good things, helpful things, uplifting things, you want your hand in everything that's positive and moving forward, then you might find that you're doing a lot of good things that aren't really essential to where you're going. All right. So Jody says, I love the second book. Yep, by Valerie Burton. Awesome. Okay, so you have read Successful Women Think Differently. It is such a great resource, ladies. And again, I will tag everything down below, and I'll also have my suggested reading list on my website. Okay, but yeah, it's an awesome book. So Essentialism by Greg McKeown, that really helped me. And the two books by Valerie Burton, we talk about mindset and time management. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, is we're going to work on our health. You might be thinking, why are we working on our health? And we're trying to be, get deeper connected with hubby. The reason we're working on our health is because hormones play a big factor in our lives as women. The hormonal cycle for a man is 24 hours. So they'll recalibrate every 24 hours. But for women, it takes us literally, we go in like a 28, 30-day cycle. And because of that, we have to be very aware of what hormones are raging and what hormones are low, what hormones need to be, increased, what needs to be decreased. And if we're not careful, we will find that, again, we are operating on stress mode. We're operating in a chaotic space. We're operating in a frustrated space, a burned out space, because our hormones aren't balanced. And I've talked about this again ad nauseum. Ladies, functional medicine specialists are so important because they take out the guesswork about what's going on in your body. You can go to your primary care doctor, and as a doctor, I'm not saying that you shouldn't see your primary care and your other specialists, but functional medicine specialists, they are trained to get to the root of the problem, not just put a band-aid on it, not just prescribe medication. They get to the root of the issue, which is right up my alley because I like to prevent over cure. Okay, so we're talking about your hormones, and what that means too, or what that impacts, is how you view yourself, right? There have been times when, because of hormone imbalance for me, I have been in a constant state of fight or flight, high cortisol, high stress. Maybe you can relate. Your mind is constantly racing, right, ladies? And you're not able to turn your mind off. You're not able to focus on one thing. And maybe you're doing all things that are important, all things that are good things, but you need to be able to quiet your mind and actually focus on what's in front of you so that you can finish the task, so that you can focus on hubby, but you can't because your mind is going a million miles per minute. A lot of that has to do with hormones. So, this is not a medical presentation, but I just cannot stress enough how much knowing my hormones and knowing what my hormone levels are, I cannot stress how important that has been with just my mental health, my sanity, and how much it has positively impacted my marriage, because I'm better able to navigate certain uncharted waters, now that I'm in my early 40s. And I'm able to better relate to my husband. I can tell him, you know what, I don't have the capacity right now to deal with certain things. And I've said that, he knows there are certain times when I'm like, I know that as much as Sherunda might want to, I don't have that emotional bandwidth. And I can say that confidently, not with guilt, not with shame, but because I know my body. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm constantly leaning on God to help me. All right. So I'm not doing this by myself. Yes, Jody says prevention is better than cure. Awesome. Absolutely. Prevention is better than cure. So we have talked about our mindset. We've talked about, our bodies and our health and how important that is. Ladies, the next thing, is we need to realize that no is a full sentence. No is a full sentence. And you're probably thinking, okay, why are we talking about that? Ladies, no is a full sentence. Why? Because we, again, as women, and I'm talking about myself, I'm talking about many other women in Grown Lady Chat community, we tend to overbook ourselves. If it's good, we say yes. If it's helpful, we say yes, whether it's out of guilt or because we truly want to do it or because we don't want for someone else to do it because we believe we can do it better. Okay, right? So we find ourselves overbooking our our times. And when you do that, then you're burning yourself at both ends of the candlestick, and you have nothing left to give when it comes time to spending with your spouse. And I know you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, how are we going to circle back around to intimacy with our spouse? Ladies, remember, we first have to do the work. We first have to do the work ourselves. Many times in marriage, people think, okay, I'm looking for my better half. I'm looking for someone to complete me. Lady, before I got married, I told myself I want to be a complete woman with a complete man coming together. All right. Now, that's not to say that there are parts of Ron that improve me, right? So that's the truth. There are parts of Ron that improve me, and there are parts of me that improve him. But as far as being just this shattered individual, you're waiting for someone to come and make you whole. No, that should be you and Jesus. All right. That should be you and Jesus. So again, we're doing the work ourselves so that when we are entering this deeper connection with our husbands, then we're doing it in the most healed version. All right. So prevention is better than cure. April says, amen. Yes. April has entered the chat. Welcome, welcome, April. Don't forget to smash the like button and share with a friend. Okay. Okay. And then we also have Cynthia Palmer. Welcome, Cynthia. Yes, you are so right. Thank you. See, this is confirmation. It's not just me talking, ladies. This is our grown lady chat. Okay. We've really got to focus on what we need to do as well, and not just what we want from our spouses. Okay. All right. Tracy says, let's see. As hard as it is for most of us to dress sexy and feel good about ourselves, being intimate requires deep emotional trust in our husbands. We can tell them everything. Absolutely. And that's a picture of Tracy and her husband. Okay. So there we go. Tracy has also entered the chat. And oh, that's a good point. So let's go back to the hormones and your health. I know personally, and I cannot be the only one. I know personally, there have been times when I have not felt that I look attractive. And even though my husband, he doesn't see that. He's like, I don't see anything wrong with you. And he's chasing me, just like the Bible says. Okay. He's chasing me. But because I'm not in an emotional space to receive it, or I don't feel like I am worthy of that attention because I don't like how I feel, because of my own insecurities, whether hormone balance, weight related, whatever, it's hard for me sometimes to receive that. So again, your husband might want to spice things up. He might want to, put the cumin and the adobo on there. He might really want to put the jalapenos and the, sriracha sauce. But because you feel like, I don't look right, and you're self-conscious, ladies, you're pushing him away. You're blocking the intimacy. You're blocking the physical intimacy. You're blocking the connection, the deeper connection that you could have with him. So it's so important, again, for us to work on our health, and hormone balance and all of that plays such a huge role. So we go back to number 3, saying no, and that means saying no to your children at times. Okay, children are naturally me, because they need you to survive up to a certain point. So we have to begin to set boundaries as parents who are parenting properly. We set boundaries so that our children know, okay, look, it's mommy and daddy time. All right. And so even in our house, sometimes we'll just be in the room. We say, no, it's mommy and daddy time. There's nothing wrong. We're not doing it. It's not like it's even adult time, right? We're not getting spicy yet. We're just having our own time, our own intimate moment. We've got to set these boundaries with our children. We have to set boundaries with church events. It is an unfortunate situation, but I've seen it so many times where marriages are negatively impacted because one of the spouses, or one of the one spouse, is prioritizing church events over over spending time with the other spouse. So we have to be careful. Even good things can overstep the boundaries. Okay. Josie Sports Nation says, mommy and stepdaddy time. Mommy and stepdaddy time. Yes, very, very important. Okay, very important for you and your spouse to have your specific time, have your boundaries. It's important with your children, with your church events, okay, and also too with your friends and your relatives. Okay, Tracy says balance is key. Absolutely. Balance is key. It's not all or nothing. We have to always be thinking of, okay, what do I need to work on? There's a misconception. I've talked about this before on other episodes. There's this misconception that, everything is going to be even and we're going to be able to give 100% to pot A, 100% to pot B, 100% to pot C. That's not true. There are going to be compromises, right? We're going to have to compromise. And in doing so, we have to take a little bit of time from here and say, okay, wait, no, I'm devoting too much time to this pot. This pot needs some time. I'm devoting too much time here. I need to go over here. So it's all about a balancing act. Exactly. All right. So Jasmine says all things in moderation. Absolutely. Absolutely. All things in moderation. All right. Very good, ladies. So are you guys enjoying the conversation so far? If you are, let's spam the comment section. Okay. Spam the comment section. So no is a full sentence. I've talked about this in episode 59. I know one of the ladies, she was concerned about how she could politely say no to family members and friends in order to make more time for her husband and God. And I gave her 3 ways that she can say no politely if she's worried about hurting someone's feeling. So the first thing would be not right now, right? So it's not saying no, but just saying not right now, saying let me check my schedule, or saying an alternative. Maybe someone else can do it. Maybe instead of doing this, that would take up so much time, maybe you can offer an alternative to, plan A and give a plan B. So there are different ways that you can say no without saying no or deferring your decision if you're uncomfortable with that. But ladies, just remember no is a full sentence. And if you need time to devote to getting yourself together so that you can have that deeper connection with your husband, then do so. All right. Make sure you do so. All right. Awesome. Okay. April says yes. Jasmine says yes. Jasmine says she's taking notes. Awesome, ladies. Awesome. I am so, so very glad. Okay. Jody says that is so true. I did put church and children and work over my marriage only because I felt my husband wasn't prioritizing. And here's the thing, ladies, sometimes it's going to take you. Sometimes it will take you. The fact that you know this, the fact that we know this, because we're all flawed individuals, right? The fact that we know this, then we can say, okay, look, I cannot control anybody but myself, right? We cannot control anybody but ourselves. So what we can do is we can focus on what we can do. And that's something that my mother tells me all the time. You can't change anybody else. You can't change your husband. You can't change your kids. You can try and influence. You can be a good example. But the only person you can truly change is yourself. So we work on ourselves first. We work on ourselves first, and then we set the example. And according to First Peter 3, our husbands will see and they will come to turn around. Okay, but that's a conversation for another day. But yes, First Peter 3 verse 1 through 2, that was life transforming in my marriage. I believe I've talked about that before, but if you want for me to, I can go into that again. It was life transforming in my marriage. Okay, the next thing, ladies, that we can do and that we should do if we haven't already done it is learn our love language. Drop in the comments and let me know how many of you have read Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages. Let me know. Have you read it? Drop in the comments and let me know how many of you have read that book. Yes, no. That one I believe is linked down in the description right now. Okay, so Tracy's read it. It's a great book. Absolutely. Anybody else read that book? I don't know where it is. Like, we have so many books in the library, but I feel like there are either on loan or something. But let's see. Okay, so April, you haven't. Look, it is such a great book, and it is one that is regarded even in the Christian community as well. Okay, so Jasmine's read it years ago. Okay, she said it's been years. but she needs to read it again. Yes, I need to read it again as well. I read it when hubby and I were dating, and it was actually his recommendation that we read it. And let me tell you, at that time, when you first start out in a marriage or any serious relationship, you don't really like, you're doing things that you know are going to be beneficial and helpful, but you just don't know how beneficial, you don't know how helpful. Let me tell you, that book has been so very eye-opening. The more and more we get into marriage, and the deeper we get into these years, we're past a decade now. And I can honestly say that reading that book all those years ago has impacted our marriage positively. So, okay, so Tracy says, Tim and I are both spending time together. That's awesome. Awesome. Tracy also says that's our love language, is time together. Okay, so if you are unaware of the five love languages, okay, according to Gary Chapman's book, the five love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Now, for me, I believe I have two of the five that are more primary than the other three. So for me, my primary, it's words of affirmation. I love to receive positive affirmation. And that's probably why I express myself so much with words. That's why I'm a motivational and inspirational speaker, because that is a way that I, like to receive love and adoration the same way I like to give it. And then my secondary one is receiving gifts. I do like to receive gifts. I like to give gifts, little things, little tokens. If someone says, "Oh, I like your necklace," I'll take it off and I'll give it to them. That is something that I like to do because that's how I like to receive love. Okay. So it's so very important for you to know your spouse's love language. But more importantly, it's important for you to know your love language so that you can assist him with showing you the love that you want to receive. Okay. So the five love languages by Gary Chapman, highly recommended. Again, I do not know where it is. It's somewhere, but I need to get it again because it's such a good book, and I do know that I really enjoyed it. Another book that I enjoyed is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. That one, again, I think I read that maybe in year seven of our marriage. I was like scratching my head about certain things, like, I'm not understanding certain conversations we were having and why they were going the way they were going. And when I read that book, it was like, oh, eureka. It made total sense. So that's another book. Has anybody ever read that one before? Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. That book is tagged in the description box. If you haven't read it, grab it. And if you're like me, I like the paperback copies of books as well as Audible. So that's how I consume on both ways. All right. So before we move on, ladies, have you answered the question of the day? Question of the day. Have you liked and shared this video? Okay. Jasmine says that is a great book, or that book is great. Which one? The Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. That one. Yes. Okay. Yep. She said, yes, that's a great book. It really is. It really, really is. That's another one that I need to read again, just to remind myself. Okay. So don't forget, like and share the video. And here's why it's so important. Yes, you want to know what your love language is so that you can relate it to your spouse. And you want to know what his love language is because you want to show him in a way that he can receive it. So let's use the whole concept of language. Let's say your love language, to make it very plain, is English. You're speaking in English, right? His love language is Latin. And so you're steady speaking in English fluently, Queen's English. And he's steady speaking in Latin fluently. And you're looking at him like, I don't understand what you're saying. He's looking at you like, I don't understand what you're saying. You're both looking at each other like, I don't know why you can't understand what I'm saying. That's the reason why we need to know how our spouse, how our husband accepts and receives love. Because you can be doing your very best and you think you're showering him with love and that his love tank should be full. Meanwhile, he's feeling depleted over in the corner, thinking, I mean, she's doing some nice things, but it's really not hitting the mark. It's not hitting like you expect it to hit because you're showing him love in Latin, or you're showing him love in English, and he experiences love in Latin. Does that make sense? So it's so very important for us to know what each other's love language is. All right. Now, we talked about last episode, our live on Thursday, about spice, va-va-voom. But remember, ladies, it's not just about the va-va-voom, because we want our love to smolder. We don't want to just have, fireworks all the time and it's only on the 4th of July and then the rest of the season is just dead. Okay, no, no, no. We want our love to smolder. And that's where the intimacy part comes in. So the first part of this discussion was all about working on ourselves so that when we're building the deeper connection with our husband, we are presenting the best version of ourselves. Okay. And it's a constant process. It's not one and done. It's constant. All right, so last episode 61, we talked about touching and flirting and dressing cute and making sure that we are visually appealing to our husbands, okay? We talked about no bonnets. Who remembers that? No bonnets. Now, I'm going to give you a little homework for this weekend, and I want for you to come back. Again, if you're not married, don't worry, just jot it down for something to do, okay? Jot it down for something to do in the future. I want for you to, this weekend, I want for you to initiate intimacy. Now, I'm not talking about just the physical, okay? Usually the physical comes, but I want for us to initiate that emotional, deep connection, intimacy. And maybe again, you're saying, look, we are already intimate. Okay, well then come in the chat. I want to know what you're doing. Like, share with us. Oh, okay. So April said she's ready for homework. She said, say less. April is ready. All right, let's give April some kudos in the comment section. April said, say less. She's ready. Who else is ready to initiate intimacy this weekend? All right, initiate intimacy this weekend. Here's what I want for you to do. Very simply, very simply. I want for you to do an at-home date night. Now, at-home date night can mean different things to every couple. If you're like my hubby and I, we have to wait till the children go to sleep because, again, if the kids are running around, it's family night, which we enjoy family night. We have lots of family game night, but we want to do intimate time with you and hubby. Now, don't start off with the spicy. The spicy, for most people, that's the easy part. Don't start off spicy. Let's smolder. Remember, we're trying to smolder. We're trying to keep the flame, the embers just going, right? And then you can get to the spicy, because the spicy will no doubt come. But let's initiate intimacy this weekend. So you're going to do an at-home date night. And what I like to do is get a little charcuterie board, okay? If you don't want to put a lot of thought into it, just get a nice little platter. I'm sure you have one of those around your house. And then just get some little hors d'oeuvres from Publix or Walmart, okay? You don't have to do Pinterest anything, because guess what? Your husband does not know the difference. All he sees is you looking cute, acting sweet. He doesn't know the difference. It's really just for us as women, because we like pretty things, which is fine. He appreciates the hard work, but it doesn't impact him the same way. So don't get all in a tizzy now trying to plan this date night that you, again, miss the mark, okay? We're not doing that. We're going to initiate a date night, and the focus will be hubby. The focus will be deepening the connection with our spouse. And let's say, you get your charcuterie board, you get your little sweets, you put on some music. Don't give into the temptation to just watch a movie. Don't give into the temptation to just, scroll on social media and talk about current events. Let's dig a little deeper. Let's dig deeper, ladies, this weekend. Pick a night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Okay. If you work on the weekend and you have a day off during the week, pick one of those days. Okay. And let's be intentional. No movie, no social media talk, no current events talk. Let's talk about meaningful aspects of your marriage. I'm going to give you a couple of topics that you can talk about. Okay. But before we get there, how are you going to show up to this date night? Remember, we talked about in episode 61, we talked about looking cute. You don't have to put on a gala outfit. You don't have to put on, a full blown, going out dress, but maybe you have a cute lounge set. Maybe you have like a cute little bodycon dress that's comfortable for you. Maybe you have a little cute two-piece, set, or a cute romper. Put that on, or maybe a robe and nothing else. Maybe you do that. And again, we're first working on the smoldering embers, okay? And then we get to the spicy. So then you're going to dress cute. All right, maybe a trench coat with some heels, nothing else. Yeah, okay, it could very well be. We could do a cat suit, right? We could do lingerie, and maybe just a little robe off the shoulder. Off the shoulder, you could do that. Again, we're starting things. We know the end result, but we're being intimate first. Awesome. All right. Jasmine says she's single and she's going to do this homework by herself for practice. Absolutely. You can ask yourself. Yeah. So this conversation you can have with yourself as well, because she is preparing for her husband. Okay. She is preparing. Yes. Awesome. Very good. I love to see it. Love to see it. All right. So you're going to look cute. And then you're going to ask a couple of questions. Now, most husbands have probably never heard their wives ask this question. I recently, probably maybe 3 months ago, asked my husband this question. And I have asked him this question before, but for whatever reason, we were in the phase of our marriage where this question, it evoked a deeper conversation, a conversation that took us through some highs and some lows, a conversation that took us about 3 to 4 days to complete. And it was a healthy conversation. It didn't feel healthy in the moment, but it is a healthy conversation that you should be having with your spouse. So you're going to ask him, what am I doing right? Now, he might fumble a bit. He might not know, what to say in the moment. That's okay. Don't be discouraged. Don't be alarmed. Don't be off put. Don't get your feelings hurt. Remember, you've had time. You've had a grown lady chat. So you already know what you're going to ask him, but he doesn't know what you're going to ask him. So don't hold it against him. Okay. Don't hold it against him, ladies. Maybe just say, okay, well, we'll revisit that at our next date night. But ask him, what am I doing right in the marriage with our intimacy? I'm not talking about the children. I'm not talking about, the money and finances. I'm talking about with us. Ask your husband, what am I doing right? Now, you're not doing this just so you can get an attaboy pat on the back, although that does feel good, right? Instead, you're doing it so that you can measure what works. So that you can say, oh, okay, well, this is how he is receiving this action. He likes this action. Make a mental note and do more of it. We have to pay attention to our husbands. And again, you're thinking, okay, well, it's just all on me. No, ladies, don't think like that. Don't think like that. You are your husband's helpmate, which means there are things that you're going to have to help him with. That is how God ordained it. And trust me, when you show up and do what you're supposed to do for your husband, unless he is just so wayward and just not invested, trust me, it will urge him, it will excite him, it will ignite a flame in him for him to want to do the same. Okay, so don't think selfishly. Let's just focus on who we can impact, right? We can't change anybody else. We can change ourselves, right? So you can ask him, what am I doing right? And depending on what he says, depending on, his response, the next question is, what can I do better? Now, here's where you brace yourself. Okay, you brace yourself because he might come with a laundry list. Don't be discouraged. Don't get your feelings hurt. Okay, you ask them a question. Now, if you're not ready to hear these answers, then maybe say, what are 2 things that I could work on? Or what are 2 things that I need to improve on? Between us. I'm not talking about the house. I'm not talking about other people and the children. Between us, what are 2 things I can work on? And then you take it and then you work on those things, because your goal, the reason we're having this conversation, is because we want to deepen our intimacy with our husbands. All right. So you're going to ask the question. And what I realized over the years, when my husband and I do have these kind of heart to heart, in-depth conversations, if I ask him a certain question, he gives an answer. And then it's almost as though he feels motivated to ask me the same question. So your husband might do the same. He might say, okay, well, honey, what am I doing right? What do you like? And make sure you have your answer for him. And then he might also say, okay, what needs improvement? What are a few things I can work on between us? And then you have your answer. And remember, you're not, beating him over the head with it. All right. You're answering in love, and you're giving him, again, your husband best. You know how to word it best. But these are the conversations that are going to help move your relationship into the next phase, especially if you know that intimacy and deep connection is lacking. Okay, that's really, really important. So let me know who is going to do the homework. I know April said she's doing it. Who's doing it? Jas said she's doing it. Jasmine said she's going to do the homework herself because she is an A student. She practices before the test is even ready. Okay. Who else is doing it? Drop in the comments and let me know. Drop in the comments. Also, don't forget to answer the question of the day, ladies. Have you liked and shared this video? And if you are getting value, please make sure you smash the like button and spam the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Okay. Make sure you subscribe for more Grown Lady Chat conversations. Now, this is something that hubby and I do specifically. We do it like on our anniversary, but sometimes we'll do it too more during our, at home date night. And we'll say, okay, what are the goals we have for our marriage? And obviously, the number one thing is, stay together. So we just take divorce off the table. All right. We just take it off the table. It's not an alternative, irreconcilable. We don't even let that enter our psyche. But we say, what are the goals for our marriage? So a long time ago, we prioritized date nights. Now, because we have young children and because we don't have consistent, steady, childcare, then date night doesn't always mean going out someplace. It could mean staying at home and watching a movie. It could mean staying at home and having, a heart-to-heart conversation. It could mean staying at home and me doing a puzzle and him dabbling and, helping me out, right? It could mean that we're watching UFC fights. I mean, whatever it is, we are prioritizing spending time together. And we're saying, okay, kids, that's it. It's bedtime. Don't come down here unless something is terribly wrong, because it's mommy and daddy time. And trust me, my little ones will try and beg, like I'm sure yours will, to say, mommy, daddy, can we stay up later? Can we come down? Can we spend time with you? There is a time and place for that, but it's not always about them. And again, remember what usually happens with empty nest syndrome. Mommy and daddy have spent decades pouring into their children, as they should. They've spent decades amassing wealth and making money and moving up in promotions with jobs and building their community around them and working hard in the church, and they've done all these things. And then when it comes time to just be together, be alone, as their life begins to wind down, they look around and they say, I don't know you. I don't know the person who I'm with. I only know you in the context of being a mother, of being a father, of being a manager, of being an entrepreneur. And see, when I talk with my children, because even intimacy with God is the same way. When I'm teaching my children about the relationship with God, I tell them, you can't get to heaven off of mommy's credibility. You can't get to heaven off of daddy's credibility with God. You can't get to, you can't know God through your church group. You can't know God through Mima and Peepaw. You can only know God through a relationship with him, an intimate relationship, knowing him fully, knowing his voice, so that when he speaks, you know his voice, like John 10:27. So when you're talking to him, you know exactly how to approach him so that you can affect the change with your words, plant those seeds. You can only do that by spending time with God, right? Same thing with your husband. You don't want to say, oh, well, I know my husband only as the father, as the provider, only as a disciplinarian. But then when there's nobody left to discipline because the kids are grown, they're living their lives, you don't know how to relate to him. You don't have a relationship with him. So we have to set those boundaries, ladies. It's not mean, it's essential, because your children, you want to show them what healthy boundaries look like. And being up under mommy and daddy, as loving as you want to be, as nurturing as you want to be, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. All right. So April agrees. April said right. Okay. So ladies, I'm going to ask you again, who is doing the homework? Who's doing the homework this weekend? Let me know. Let me know. Drop in the comments. Let me know. Drop in the comments. Also, too, before I forget, don't leave before you head over to my website. Okay. Don't let the day end before you head over to my website and join my email community. All right. If you go to drsherundasimone.com, you click right there enter join, and boom, you can just shoot me your email and your name, and you're automatically in the Grown Lady Chat email community. And we have so many good discussions there, and even like a continuation of this discussion. Okay, so make sure that you are involved in Grown Lady Chat email community. Now, does anybody want to come on? Does anybody want to come on and share? Anybody want to come on and share? And I know last episode they asked for my Cash App if anybody wants to support Girl Lady Chat community. That's great. I would appreciate it. But make sure that if you want to get on the email list where we have our conversations ongoing, we talk about all things Christian lifestyle, then make sure you join my email community. Okay. All right, so we have our homework for this weekend, and maybe you can't do it this weekend, maybe you can't, but if you can, you should. Don't make an excuse. Again, don't make it a burden. Don't make it something that is some big headache. Just get it done. Just plan it. Say, okay, hubby, I need you to be here at this certain time. And don't tell him why. Just say, I need you to be here. Make sure that you have, squared the children away. If it's even for 1 hour, you and he have your time together and you have your deep conversation. You're going to ask him the question. Be prepared for the answer. Don't be alarmed. Don't be hurt. You are asking so that you can be better. All right. And again, if you have a husband who might not be as willing, or maybe you feel as though, he is not showing you the attention, he's not paying any mind to you, it can be frustrating, it can be hurtful. I understand. But instead of just saying, okay, well, I'm going to do my own thing. Okay, that's it. I'm just going to focus only on the children, only on work, only on church, because it's easier for us to do that, right? To focus on what we can manage, what we can impact. 1 Peter 3, 1 through 2. That's the Bible verse I have, or verses I have for you. 1 Peter 3, verses 1 through 2. All right. So read that and be encouraged. Okay. So, ladies, let's see. What are the comment section? What's happening in the comment section? Who all is doing the challenge? Or the homework, I should say, the homework. Your hubby will thank you. And you're probably going to say, what's gotten into you? And then you'll know that you are working on yourself and you're working on your deeper intimacy and connection. Okay. All right, ladies. So that is all I have for tonight's episode. I'm going to update the book list in the description box. Okay, so make sure that you check there. I have a few books already linked, but I realized now I was like, oh, I forgot some of my favorites that I definitely want for you to read. Again, if you haven't read them, if you've already read them, but it's been a few years, read them again, because you're going to get so much more insight now that you're in a different place in your life, in your marriage. Okay. Okay, so all right, so April says that she is going to do the homework, but she's going to need a drink afterwards. All right, April, whatever it takes. All right, April. Okay, and then Jasmine asked, what is the Bible verse again? All right, let me just double check that, but I do believe, because it's one of my favorites, okay, one of my favorite Bible verses when it comes to, just my marriage and just marriage in general, because I've had to share my story with so many women, as far as how my marriage was positively impacted by this Bible verse. Okay, 1 Peter 3, verse 1. Okay, is it First Peter 3, verse 1 through 2? Let me double check it. Okay, yeah, so it's 1 Peter 3, verse 1 and 2. Wives, in the same way, submit yourselves to your own husbands, so that if any of them do not believe the word, they may be won over without words by the behavior of their wives when they see the purity and reverence of your lives. Now, when I found this Bible verse, I was at a place, or my husband and I were both at a place in our marriage where I didn't realize it, but he too was going to God, like banging his head up against the wall, like, I need for her to listen. I need for this to change. I need for her to do better in certain areas in our marriage. And He didn't know that at the same time, I was banging my head up against the wall saying, I need for him to change. I need for him to do better. I need for certain things to change in our marriage. And so, yes, even though we were still very much in love, still very happy, there were key elements of our marriage that we needed to work on. And we were each going to God, crying out, what can we do? What can we do to make a change, make improvement? And it wasn't until I came across, me personally, I came across this Bible verse. And, most often when women see the word submit, they think church mouse. They think, oh, you have to do everything your husband says and, yes, sir, no, sir. That's not what submission is, but that's a whole nother discussion, ladies, okay? Because if any of you know me, you know that I'm not a church mouse. I'm not a doormat. It's not like that. It's a heart posture. It's realizing that there is a hierarchy in the kingdom of God and husband should be the head of the household. Okay, so anyway, the part that really, really moved me was when it said, if any of them do not believe the word, they may be won over without words by your actions as a wife. And so that's when it came back to my mind that, you know what, my mother always tells me, you can't control anybody, you can't fix anybody, you can encourage them. Even as a motivational speaker, I can encourage and inspire, but people have to make their own decisions to take action, right? And so she said, stop trying to manipulate things around you, not even just in your marriage, just in general. Work on sherunda, be the best sherunda you can be. That's what she told me, and that's what I did. I set out to be the best sherunda through Christ that I could be, and it's a constant process. I'm still on that journey every day. And so it says, according to the word of God, that even if they don't believe, if your husband is not, you guys aren't jiving, he's not listening, doesn't matter, they can be won over without words. Meaning, I don't have to nag him. I don't have to get on his nerves. What does the Bible say? It's better for a man to be in a peaceful home than to be with like a cantankerous woman, because then he finds himself on the top of the roof or something like that, right? So there were so many times when I found myself, just being a nag and, just trying to manipulate. And I said, okay, we're done with that. I'm going to just work on me. And the Bible says that even if they don't believe, they may be won over without words. I took that as without being nagging, without being annoying, without trying to manipulate with my words and crying and begging. No. Instead, they'll be won over by my behavior, by the behavior of their wives when they see the purity and reverence of your lives. So again, to the comment of, well, I did this because he was doing that. Let's work on ourselves. Let's be that example in real time for our husbands. And I'm telling you, as soon as I made the decision in myself to say, okay, I'm going to stop trying to change the problems that I think he has, because again, I didn't think I was perfect, but I didn't think I had problems like that. Well, apparently he and God both knew I had problems like that, because hubby was crying out to God at the same time. And so once I made that decision and said, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to try and manipulate the situation. I'm going to focus on being the best sherunda through Christ that I can be. And I started to do the work. I started to prioritize, time better, time management. I started reading the books by Valerie Burton. I started reading, essentialism. I really started to pour into personal development on a different level, not just so I could speak and give inspiration and go on, paid trips to talk with people, even though I enjoyed doing that. But I started to do the work, personal development for myself to better my marriage. And when I did that, it wasn't overnight, but ladies, it was nearly immediate when we're talking about just the time span. I noticed that my husband's heart began to change. Things that I had been praying about, nagging him about, worrying about, he began to change on his own without me having to say it anymore, without me having to repeat myself. And one day he told me, he said, something's changed in you. And I know that it could only be God. Now, mark you, I've been a Christian ever since I was a little girl. So it's not like, oh, I came to find Christ. No, I got a deeper connection, a more intimate relationship with God. And that caused a change in me. And that change, my husband saw it. and it was more powerful than my words. It was more powerful than my begging, my pleading, my attempts at manipulation. It was more powerful than that. And he said, I see that. And your change makes me want to do better and change things about myself. That's what he told me. And that was unprovoked. And when I tell you, it was like, I remember that feeling. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I read this in the Bible, in First Peter. This is exactly what he was talking about in the Bible. And it was like, wow, this really works. When you do it God's way, it really works. Okay, ladies. So that's just, I mean, it's just a little part of how much personal development and working on myself has improved our intimacy. And sure enough, hubby, we continue to grow together, we continue to change together. And there are many times when I have to reel it back in and say, okay, remember First Peter 3, 1 and 2. Sherunda, work on yourself. Do what you need to do. Submit to your husband, submit to God. Your hubby submits to God. You both submit to each other. It's a beautiful, beautiful relationship where everybody benefits, but you have to do it the right way. And I'm telling you, once I did, our intimacy, our trust, our respect for each other, it just skyrocketed and it just continues to grow. It really does. Okay. Jody said, thanks, Sharonda. Oh, you are so very welcome. You're so welcome. I hope that you have enjoyed this chat. It's just so great to connect with you again after all these years. So thank you so very much. And Jasmine says, please do a grown lady chat about this topic, wives submitting to husbands realistically. Absolutely. All right. I will put that on the schedule. You want to do a live chat about that? I think that would be a good live chat. What do you guys think? Let me know. Would that be a good live chat to have? I think that would be a good one so that we can do, this real-time interaction. I think that would be good. All righty, ladies. Is there anything else anybody wants to share? This has been so very exciting. I am so excited. I'm so grateful that you all have been here and that we've had such a good conversation, a helpful conversation, an enlightening conversation. Okay, so Tracy said that would be great. Okay, so we'll do, does anybody else agree? Let me know. Grown Lady Chat about this topic, wives submitting to husbands realistically. Realistically. Because, lots of pastors get on the pulpit, male pastors, and they want to talk about it. And they want to say what we should do. And from a woman's perspective, we have to be realistic. We have to be realistic because God gave us that expectation, and so we want to do it. But what does that look like in real life? What does that really mean? Yes. Okay. So Tracy said that would be great. Jazz says yes. We're going to do live. Okay. Awesome. Perfect. 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 Okay. Well, I'm going to put it on the schedule maybe next Thursday. I had something planned for Thursday, but I can always move it around because this is our chat. This is our chat. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So thank you so much, Cynthia. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. Hope to see you again. All right. Make sure that you are connected with the Grown Lady Chat community. I know that you are watching through Facebook, which is wonderful. If you click on or if you go to the email or the website, drsharondasimone.com, you can easily join my email community there. Okay, so make sure you do that so that you stay linked in with these good conversations. Okay, and Jody says, yes, I would love the live. Awesome. Okay, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. So I think we have enough thumbs up. We're going to do the live about realistic submission. What is that realistically? Oh, and April says she enjoyed tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you, April. Thank you. Thank you. A1 since day one. I have some A1s since day ones in here. Thank you, Jasmine, Tracy, April. Thank you so very much. Those are some of my A1s since day one. All right, this has been good. This has been good. Thank you very much, ladies. Remember, every Thursday at 7 p.m., we're going live. So I don't know where you'll be, but all the hot topics, all the grown ladies who are about their father's business, this is where we'll be. Okay, so make sure that you join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. This is where we are going to be. Okay, this is where we're going to be. All right, see, ladies, last request. smash the like button if you haven't already done that, and make sure that you share this episode with a friend. Share it. It's been helpful. It has reminded me of so many things. It has helped me, and I'm looking forward to doing my homework tonight. I know hubby is looking forward to me doing my homework this weekend. I mean, he's looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to it. So, all right. So until Monday, all right, we have our episode Monday, and our next live is on Thursday. So until Monday, remember, I am Dr. Sherunda Simone, and I will either see you at the top or from the top. You decide. Bye. Have a wonderful night, ladies. Have a wonderful night.